It is hard to believe that it's already been more than 3 years since David Letterman left late night television. It was in May of 2015 that Mr. Letterman ended his record setting 33 years hosting late night TV shows. Many, though, forget that his first TV show was on at a very different time, 9 o'clock in the morning Central Time, and as a result, it had a very different audience. The David Letterman Show aired at 9 o'clock Iowa time for a 4-month period in the summer and fall of 1980. It wound up winning a Daytime Emmy Award, but it was a little too unique for an audience used to game shows and soap operas, as opposed to a comedian with somewhat quirky humor. Here's an example. The show sponsored an essay contest, encouraging viewers to write and tell why the Letterman crew from New York should all come and tape an episode at your house. Jane Goldsworthy of Cresco, Iowa, submitted a 100-word essay, and before long she found out she had won. And that is how Howard and Jane Goldsworthy became national TV stars for a day on October 22nd, 1980. The Letterman program that day included taped man-on-the-street segments from downtown Cresco, stupid pet tricks, of course, and guest Cloris Leachman, herself an Iowa native, born in Des Moines. But the show almost did not make it on the air. You see, it was taped in the late summer, and then the Letterman Show was canceled. But just before the last daytime Letterman program on October 24th, the producers made sure the Iowa episode aired on this date in 1980.
Wow, that is really unique. So he started off doing basically what we're doing here, a daytime show.
Started out as 90 minutes, and then they cut it back to an hour, and then finally they cut it back to nothing. But it's the thing that was interesting is that it was very much like the late night program would be, in terms of stupid pet tricks and quirky humor. But again, that might have worked for him better at that time, and what you guys do works much better at your time.
Okay.
I still like that idea of just kind of being fun and entertaining early in the morning as opposed to other options that are out there. And plus, David used to be a weather guy, a very quirky weatherman at one point, so that's probably what he was used to until he found his new niche that we all know him by from then on.
Yeah, these weather duties, that's where he had the term "it's raining down like canned hams." Isn't it? Like hailstones like canned hams came from years ago. How about that? So again, Letterman as a daytime talk show host.
And, you know, this was before you had things like The Talk and what was at first Regis and Kathy Lee. This was just a little more of an odd edge. And so for some of us growing up at the time, we thought it was great.
Absolutely.
But again, it was not what the audience they had to cancel shows, right, to make room for the Letterman Show. And so this is when they canceled things like Hollywood Squares and some other big game shows. So there was a little backlash against Dave for that as well. But it didn't take long. This show ended in the fall of '80, and in early 1982, he settled in right after Johnny Carson and then began that wonderful 33-year run.
How about that? But again, the folks from Cresco had a chance to have the Letterman Show from their community back on this days when it finally aired, right?
That's right. And from what we understand at the time, the locals didn't quite know what to make of these rather odd people from New York, but that made it even more fun. And by all accounts, the town, the area was represented very respectfully and very well on national TV.
I love it. Well, he's a Midwest boy himself, so I'm sure it was
right.
natural for him to come back a couple states over from where he grew up as well.